Hello, welcome to a finals training report here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. I just got back from the club, from the mighty Carlton Football Club. I was at the open training this morning. Also caught a little bit of the captain's run for the AFL team as they are set to play in their first match tomorrow, Sunday at Frankston against the Hawks. So that was good. Big turnout. Good to see the finals vibes. I had a lot of conversations with people, and I think a lot of those conversations were centered around how we almost weren't there this morning. We were close to not being there, but nonetheless we were there, and that's the most important part. Definitely got there and felt a renewed spirit, and I think that's the most important part of today. There's been conversations around how we got here, obviously, but I think, honestly, I think those conversations have to be parked until post-season. It's a long break, and we will get to what happened and what could have and should have and would have been. The reality is we're going to Brisbane next week. We're playing finals footy. We're 8th. We are the biggest underdog going into the final series. We're one of 8 teams who has a chance to win a premiership, and that's all that matters. It was a pretty big turnout from a fan perspective, and I thought it was a pretty big turnout from a player perspective as well. All of the favourites were there. Just off the bat, TDK popped out for a brief moment and then trained indoors. I didn't see Adam Chera, unless someone in the comments can let me know if they saw Adam Chera. I didn't see Jack Martin. Other than that, those are the ones that I think trained indoors. I am led to believe that they had a session yesterday, and that might have been why we didn't see them today. So maybe they're just being managed. I saw the standout of the session was, it was Sam Doherty. That was the standout. I hadn't seen him train in the flesh. We've seen footage of him at training through Carlton media and through whatever mainstream media reports that we do get. And that was good. He looked very zippy. He looked fresh. It is a training session. It was it wasn't a super high intensity session. They're just, going through what they needed to go through. But it was good nonetheless just to see Doc out there. One thing I noticed about the session and about the players that I saw, not a lot of strapping. I don't know if that's because of the type of session it was. Not a lot of match sim per se, if any at all. Just generally just drills. But look, it was good to get out there. I think it was a day for the fans, just a day for the Carlton people to get together and just feel that finals excitement in the air. We got there last year, and I remember that first final session before Sydney, and that was just so exciting because it was a first. It was a first for all of us that had been waiting for a long time to go to one of those sessions. The conversations around what happens next week, team selection conversations happened every single turn at the Carlton Football Club today. And yeah, I think it's a lot of it is guesswork. From my perspective, seeing who trained there today would give me a guess as to who would be available. Charlie Curnow is the other one who I saw for a brief moment, I should add. Didn't see much of him in the actual main session, but I did see him pop out for a moment. Jack Silvani is the other notable who was doing some running drills on the side. Obviously not available next week, but having a look at it, there is the potential to see up to, 6-7 changes. I think Charlie Curnow, if I had to guess, I would say Charlie and Harry would play for sure. McGovern and Williams would play for sure. We did hear Vossi talk about the categorization of certain players, guys who have played footy and missed a few weeks, and so have got, a good base underneath them. And I think all of those players are in that category. And then you've got the ones where you've got to be taking a bit more of a risk by selecting them if you do. The first on that list is probably, Sam Doherty. The second would be Tom de Koning. The third would be Adam Chera. Another one might be Jack Martin. And that's the question. That is the one that's going to be on our minds until, the team selection show and, the final teams that get decided at 6:20 p.m. on Thursday. So that's what we're going to be casting our minds to, but more than anything today, I felt a better sense of calm. And I think going into this series, it's good that we've had experience. Last year, a lot of it was unknown. We had played in big games, and we always play in big games, but I don't think much replicates finals football apart from playing in those games. So, yeah, I've got a nice injection of excitement into me, and we'll just see what happens. But in terms of who was there and who wasn't there, I mean, I think everyone's seen on social media. But yeah, for me, Sam Docherty, definitely a standout. Looks fresh. The question of him is really around, his fitness and match fitness. But I think for Doc, more than anything, when I think about Docherty being out there, it's around his presence in the team and then on field and what he does for the group from an organisation standpoint. I can cast my mind back to season 2024 in various instances where we just were a little bit out of place or a little bit disorganised at stoppage. I think of the Sam Berry stoppage where Adelaide beat us, or the Nick Dacos one where the Pies beat us. Little things like that. And I do wonder if one player like Doc can help in those situations. I think the more IQ you have out there on the field, the better. I do wonder if the scare of the way that the season ended lit a bit of a fire into the group about what could have been or what couldn't have been. And I'm sure that they're looking forward rather than looking back. I mean, they have to. They've got no choice. I don't think it serves the team or anyone to look back right now, because we're going to be doing that later in the year anyway. So a good turnout, a good session. Those are the players that were there. Those are the players that were not. And we'll see what happens. Also, don't forget, we are giving away a signed player edition Charlie Curnow Guernsey. I've shown you guys in all the shows lately. You'll see it there. The player edition Guernsey. It is signed at the back there. We're raffling that off. I said in the team show that would not be our last session, and I meant it. And I didn't know if it would be true, but it was true. So we're going to be drawing that at about 6:30 on Thursday on the team show. So how would it work? Entries close 6 p.m. sharp on Thursday. 6:20, the teams will come out. And then at about 6:30, 6:35, 6:40, after we've spoken around the teams, I will then spin the wheel and one of you will be taking home the Guernsey, as well as this Charlie Curnow candle. So I'm looking forward to giving somebody a call live on the show for the giveaway. And that's that. That was today. Good session. Chat to you in the comments below. Let me know. Let us know. What would you do for selection? Is there such thing as too many changes? Or do you believe that we need to get as much experience into the side as possible and win the game? Because really it's not even one game at a time. It's one contest at a time and then one quarter at a time. So we'll go from there. We'll chat about it in the comments. See you soon. Go Blues.